or for that matter, legal entity structuring. So let's take an example. So when I worked with Hewlett Packard, I was part of an engagement where I was assessing the legal entity risk. Hewlett Packard has its revenues close to about $150 billion before it got split into multiple entities. And they were located in about 179 countries. And they had about 800 plus legal entities. So talk about a partnership firm, talk about a joint venture, talk about limited liability partnership, talk about a corporate or an incorporate, it doesn't matter. It's all part of its legal structure. So when you understand the legal entity structure, you are looking at the risk the organization could be facing when it's actually having entities across different countries with different regulations, with different structures, having different kinds of risks. For example, a partnership is something where any liability that could arise could directly go to the owners or the partners of the partnership firm. But on the other hand, if it's an incorporate or a corporate entity, the liability goes only to the corporate, a legal entity, not to a human being, unless it's a fraud, where the laws of the country will actually allow the corporate to come at the people behind the fraud. So these risks are very important, and more important, structuring these is a super important, exciting area, because that is where you could add a lot of value to companies. Understanding the geography, understanding the laws, understanding how you can analyze this data, and understanding how you could structure an entity in a way that it's the most value adding to your organization. So now another area of work that you could be expertised in, which is a very rare kind of a area of work and expertise, high value, is due diligence reviews. Now what is due diligence? Now let's take a scenario where we spoke about a kirana shop owner next to your house. He suddenly decides and wakes up one day and says, I am going to have one more shop. My wife is actually now available. She is going to manage this shop. So he doesn't want to start from scratch, which basically includes setting up a place, buying up provisions, and then building a reputation for his location. He could say, I am going to now buy another company or another kirana shop owner who wants to sell it. So he finds someone who's ready to sell a kirana shop for whatever reason, buys it, and then his wife handles that particular shop. And actually extrapolating this to a much bigger scale, take a company like Reliance, or for that matter, Apple. They buy companies all the time. Now, when they buy companies, how do they know what kind of risks that they are actually buying? Because the due diligence is done to identify these kind of risks, whatever the organization is projecting is actually true. If they are saying there's value in this technology and that's what your organization is buying, you actually have your diligence done to say it is true or not. Because what the organization is paying for is to be true and fair. It's a very important, interesting area of work. Now, not just that, you can actually move into process studies where you can understand the organization way of work. You can understand how to actually make the process simple. A lot of times it's very complex, it's boring, it's mundane. So you can make it exciting, simple, differentiated to actually meet your organization's vision. Or for that matter, you could be in finance consulting, where your entire scope of work would help organizations handle finance better, handle business decisions better, handle how to structure their particular business flows better to make more money or to save their money that they've already actually invested in. So more importantly, if you have a great kind of a skill in analytics and a great vision and a visual understanding of how an industry functions, or if you are passionate about understanding the industry, you should definitely get into a job where you can actually understand the industry. Or another aspect of work, a very exciting aspect of work could be understanding the industry insights, where you would be preparing reports to understand or to provide people insights about the industry. So imagine someone wants to foray into the defense sector. What does the sector hold for them in the future? Now your report is going to give them an insight into the kind of risks, into the kind of profits, into the kind of growth, into the kind of areas of work and the future of technology, be it drones, be it space, be it whatever really works.